Aaron Rodgers has an offer from the Steelers on the table, but he's yet to accept. Meanwhile, Atlanta has put out feelers to trade Kirk Cousins. Our Jeremy Fowler said that based on conversations he had during last week's NFL meetings, Cousins is, quote, at the very least on the Steelers' radar. He lost his starting job late in 2024. That was to then rookie Michael Penix Jr. Let's bring in former Steeler, our guy, RC. Top of the morning to you, sir. Hey, RC, how we doing?
What's up, man? What's
Good.
up, bro?
How y'all guys doing? I'm gonna be honest, man. I really like the twins on the show with Kendrick because it's like real East Coast with real South. They all was tough guys. Nobody listens to Molly, so it's like everybody's Stephen A on the show. I was really enjoying just sitting back and watching this happen.
But RC, really? Like, that's where you went? Nobody listens to Molly? Seriously.
No,
Thank
I mean,
you. That ringing endorsement.
He did say that on national television. He did say that on national
Thanks,
television.
RC.
He did say that.
Stephen A was legitimately like asking, he had to ask Marcus, are you just going to ignore Molly? Because they were so fired up about the debate and the argument. I mean, I listened to you. I can't control everybody else. Basketball.
I appreciate you.
You did miss one element.
This morning.
You did miss one element. On first take, I'm not really asking. You know, that's the only thing you got wrong there. But it's okay. It's okay.
All right. S.A., I'm going to ask you something right now. Are you good with Cousins as a backup plan to Rodgers as a Steelers fan?
Me? You asking me that,
Yes,
Molly?
Stephen A. Yep. Here we go.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Why the hell would you? I could have sworn you brought Ryan in to ask that question. I don't know why you would ask me that question. You mean Kirk Cousins that threw nine interceptions and one touchdown over the last 5 games? You mean that Kirk Cousins? You know, coming off the ACL injury or whatever it was. I mean, I don't have any faith in Kirk Cousins. Hell no. The only thing that I could say positively about Kirk Cousins being a Pittsburgh Steeler is that at least he's won one playoff game since 2016. The Steelers have not. That's the only thing that I could say. But in terms of his level of production, compared to what we're seeing from other quarterbacks in this league, compared to the quarterbacks that we know exist in the AFC, from Mahomes to Burrow to Lamar Jackson to Josh Allen. Let's not forget C.J. Stroud. Let's not forget Justin Herbert. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa even. Everywhere you turn, it seems like everybody has a damn quarterback but the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's the only good thing that I could say about it. There's nothing that excites me, that enamors me, that tickles me in any way about Kirk Cousins being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Nothing at all.
Yeah, the drop-off of what this will say about the Pittsburgh Steelers is almost inexplicable. To go from having an opportunity to re-sign Justin Fields, not playing Justin Fields after the start of the season last year, and then ending up in a position where you do nothing this offseason to improve your quarterback room. You go back and get Mason Rudolph, who you've had in the room, who I talk to people in the building, and they say they love Mason. They trust Mason. The locker room loves Mason. I don't care if everybody loves Mason. We could do a reality show. You don't want him as your starting quarterback if you're trying to contend for a Super Bowl. And so now to say that you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision on whether or not he'll be your quarterback in 2025 and Kirk Cousins is the backup plan, clearly nobody watched Atlanta play last year. The best thing Atlanta did at the quarterback position was draft Michael Penix Jr. 8th overall to be a backup plan to Kirk Cousins. And this is in no way to cast aspersions on who Kirk Cousins has been throughout his career. But after coming off the Achilles injury, seeing the way he can't move, seeing the way he can't put spin or he can't push the football down the field anymore, he won't be an upgrade over Mason Rudolph. And so to me, it's Aaron Rodgers or bust for this team.
Stephen A.,
I agree.
say what?
I don't have any disagreement. I agree. I don't have any disagreement with that at all. Look, Kirk Cousins has produced during the regular season. Unfortunately, with Kirk Cousins over the years, you found yourself thinking more about his agent than him. You're like, who the hell's representing this guy? Because the guy gets paid. He always managed to get his money. Remember when he had $84 million guaranteed before the market ballooned or what have you? You just found yourself looking at his agent and saying, damn, who's this guy? I might want him to represent me. This brother's something special right here. Whoever the hell this guy is that keeps getting Kirk Cousins his money. But we didn't look at Kirk Cousins' game, particularly in the postseason, and rave about anything. The fact is, really, really nice guy. We saw him walking off the field after the win. You like that? You like that? We saw that kind of bravado. We saw him with the chain on, dancing with the players and all of that stuff when they were winning. We didn't see him doing that the last 5 weeks of that regular season when he nosedived, okay? So it's one of those situations where you look at him and you say, look, he could play, but there's nothing really great about him, and it's far less than great come postseason.
Yeah, I got to hit the top of the hour. All I want to know is when is Aaron Rodgers going to make his decision? Like, how long is he going to hold this organization hostage?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the point I want to get to, though, Molly. Doesn't it feel like we're talking about how far the mighty have fallen? Like, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
This is an organization that's only had 3 coaches over the last century. Right? They're the picture of stability. They're the picture of understanding how an organization is supposed to be run. And so to have Aaron Rodgers out here doing podcasts and doing appearances and talking about, no, I won't go to Chicago, or I might be with the team that plays in Chicago, throwing with DK Metcalf. Let's do business as business should be done and find a person to man that quarterback room and find a way to win.
Yeah. RC, hold that thought. I appreciate you listening right there. I got to hit the top of the hour. You're 100.
He's doing interviews, his right, of course. He's doing appearances, his right, of course. And he's focused on his own life, his right, of course. Kirk Cousins is still on the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, by the way. Now, in order to get Kirk Cousins, you have to give up compensation, whatever that compensation would be. Let's call it a 6th or a 7th round pick. And you have to pay money, obviously. You have to pay some of that money down with Atlanta. My guesstimation is whatever Cousins costs will be the same as what Rodgers cost at this point in both their careers. Is that a better option for them at this point?
Do we think that Kirk Cousins would be showing up to the facility if they were to make this move?
Immediately.
With Aaron Rodgers, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I completely...
Am I wrong to think, by the way, that he would show up immediately? Is that what you were getting at?
Well, I just think you would have an answer. You would know where you're going.
Yes.
You would have somebody
Hey,
who...
Kirk, do you want to be on the team? Yes. When can you get here? Yesterday.
Correct.
Okay,
you would have someone who would immediately try to ingratiate themselves within your locker room and your organization and Kirk Cousins. And we know Aaron Rodgers did that in the beginning with the Jets, but if he wanted to be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's had every opportunity to do so this offseason and has still been waiting. So I'm with Courtney. I do not think that Aaron Rodgers is the best option for the Steelers. I didn't think a quarterback who got everybody fired after winning 5 games over 2 seasons, heading into his age 42 season, was worth waiting for anyway. But the only thing I disagree with Courtney is that it seems like they are fine waiting around for Aaron Rodgers, because I am still shocked that the Pittsburgh Steelers are even in this position when it comes to this specific quarterback option. So maybe they are content waiting around a little bit longer to find out whether or not Aaron Rodgers picks them. But if I was them, I would be fed up and I would look towards another option, and that option would be Kirk Cousins.
Well, I don't like any of the options that the Pittsburgh Steelers have right now at quarterback, and that's what happens when you wait around until late May in order to figure out who QB1 is actually going to be. And now you're caught betwixt and between which quarterback you think has a better chance at being able to bounce back from an Achilles injury that they suffered a couple of years ago. I mean, logic would say you would lean toward the younger of the two, that being Kirk Cousins, but you don't have any evidence that either one of these guys is going to be good at football if and when they decide that they're going to play for you. Now, Kirk Cousins would be waiving his no trade. Aaron Rodgers would be signing outright as a free agent. But either way, you can't feel good about the spot that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in, which makes me go to the place of this franchise being more dysfunctional than the brand would let on. The Pittsburgh Steelers have operated in such a way over the last 2 years where you can no longer give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think that this is a microcosm of that dysfunction, not knowing who your quarterback is going to be because you've backed yourself into a corner waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I just think it's an embarrassment for the franchise. And it speaks to how far this team has fallen under Mike Tomlin. And I can't believe that I'm at this position now, but I think he deserves a world of criticism for how he's mismanaged the quarterback situation over the last couple of years.
That is strong, obviously, especially considering our show is a Mike Tomlin fan club many times, and I think he's earned that right. I just have another follow-up on Rodgers on this. He hasn't signed yet. We've all asked, what is he waiting for? Smalls, you have been steadfast for a long period of time, not now as much because of moves they've made, that you thought Minnesota until it wasn't Minnesota.
Well, I feel like that's what he could be waiting for.
Absolutely. Is he trying to get the Steelers to not want him?
Why? Go on. What do you mean?
It just seems like he hasn't signed. We're approaching training camp not that far away. We're 100 days out. It's almost like he wants to turn them off so he doesn't have to sign with them, because it's like, to me, it's like everybody knows, hey, if you have a chance to go play for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, if you're Aaron Rodgers at this point in your career, you should walk there and be thrilled to do that. And he's not. He's fine. He's fine. Like, whatever. I mean, unless it's an arrangement all along where they're like, hey, I'm going to miss these things. And as long as I don't sign, I'm not actually missing these things. Are you cool with that? Yeah, that's fine. The arrangement is.
Well, why would they be cool with that?
Okay, well, that goes to what Cece said, obviously, right?
Or why should they be cool with that? He's supposed to be your starting quarterback. Why would you be cool allowing him to not sign and not want to be part of whatever you have going on in the offseason? That makes no sense to me, especially for an organization who is so team first, who is so much about the history and the legacy and how important it is to wear that uniform. Why would they give this guy the ultimate pass to not buy into that?
Don't know the answer. Plays the position that is the most important position in the sport.
A position that is a leadership spot by nature. And he's already missed phase 1 of the offseason program. They're about to start phase 2 this week with the OTAs. Phase 3 is minicamp. There's a chance that this guy doesn't show up for any.
đây sống theo tư bản người Tâm. Anh em đi ra chợ mua con lợn đi. Anh em đòi ăn phát rút tiền ở đấy. Tí nữa em sẽ về